Dandelion, NYCP, and any work basically. But there's an Ulster County Climate Smart table that specifically we need help with. So I can forward around details on how to sign up, but anybody can go. It's appreciated. Dandelion, NYCP, and any work basically. But there's no, I think the slides aren't even on the smart table. Specifically, it's less live. Okay.
So I connected to live stream. I don't.
Says live.
I don't know if you can hear it.
Well, I just heard it myself.
Right, but then I turned up my mute. So
Wow.
I don't. So can you go on to check it?
Yeah, I'm checking it. Okay.
Is it live? Can you hear us live?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lag, but yeah. Wait, maybe wait till you check it.
So, like, if I don't do anything, is it still going up? Yes?
I would say yes. I think.
Yeah, there's a delay. That's okay, there's a delay.
It's
Like
like,
a 7-second delay just in case I work something out that I shouldn't.
all right. The audio is not really high quality. You can't really understand, or I can't really understand. But
Okay.
yeah, it's caption.
No. Don't know how to do that.
Okay. Anyways, I can keep going. Great. All right. Also kind of an education, but I wanted me to mention the whole CLCPA thing. So the Climate and Community Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act was passed in 2019. And right now it's the draft scoping plan comment period. And the comment period was supposed to end sometime in June, but it's been extended to July 1st. And it basically all this spurred from the fossil fuel industry and like 3 major companies that felt like the climate sphere knew about the draft scoping plan, but the average person didn't, and the people that they would want to weigh in didn't. So it's really for them to get more negative comments to propose the scoping plan is what's like amongst the environmental community talking about. But basically, now that it's been extended, the environmental realm is trying to ramp up their comments. So we're suggesting everybody submit comments in support of the draft scoping plan. New Yorkers for Clean Power has an actual toolkit on our website by sector, transportation sector, the power sector, the waste sector even we covered. Basically, you can review our talking points and then submit a comment. There are other organizations like Renewable Heat Now, New York News that have just click buttons where you can click and submit. And it's a general statement saying, I support the CLCPA. And so, yeah, I think they had like 18,000 comments already. But until July 1st, they need as many comments in support of the Climate Leadership and Protection Act. And with that, there's a resolution that Jen Metzger from New York Clean Power put together, and basically having cities sign resolutions saying, City of Kingston, for example, I support the CLCPA draft scoping plan. So that actual cities and local electeds, a letter coming from them in support might help the Climate Action Council, who is reviewing the comments. So yeah, that I wanted to know if the City of Kingston would be interested in signing the CLCPA resolution, and then also just to educate the Climate Smart Commission about signing the comments for the comment period. Sorry, that's a lot.
So as a background on a couple of things, the mayor has signed on as a municipal official himself.
Okay.
This request would be to have the council sign a resolution. The Conservation Advisory Council is also working on submitting comments as the Conservation Advisory Council itself. And there was a request from Jen Metzger to put this same request on the CAC agenda. So CAC doesn't meet until July 12th-ish. And that could be separate, certainly, if the CAC wants to, but what I'm saying is, it doesn't behoove both CAC and Climate Smart to separately send a request to the resolution, or a request for a resolution to common council. It either should be like a joint request, or neither, or one or the other. If this commission chooses to do that, request that the common council pass the resolution, communication would need to go in by July 8th in order for it to go on the laws and rules meeting in July, which would be voted on in August. If it goes through CAC, then it would need to be submitted by the end of July, which would go on the August laws and rules, would be voted on in September. I know that none of this timeline has to happen before the July 1st deadline, but just to give you all the information.
Seems to me the request would be stronger if it went through both us and the conservation
Advisory.
council. I wonder if
And we've done that before.
yeah,
So it could be the case that like Climate Smart votes to say that we want to advance a communication to laws and rules and to request that CAC signs on to the same communication. And that would go on the CAC's agenda in July. CAC would say yay or nay. You would basically vote whether or not you want to move forward, whether or not the CAC says yay or nay. And then depending on how that all goes down, I would then put together the communication based on whoever's it is, and then I would submit it at the end of July to laws and rules to be on the August laws and rules and vote on September.
that sounds like a stronger proposal to me for it to go through both. I don't know.
Sounds like when.
Is
that a
September
motion?
too far away though? It's like,
I think they're finalizing
What do you
in
mean?
December,
yeah, you can submit
so
the
they want,
resolutions after the July 1st. Okay.
yeah, so it would be after comments, but not before the climate action council finishes the plan. Yeah, so I think it's still useful even if it doesn't happen until August. So I guess I would make a motion that we try to work with the Conservation Advisory Council on this motion of support for the climate act scoping process through the common council. Did I do it? Oh my God.
Okay, is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion?
I would just add, they seem more policy based, right? So that this is more their,
CAC is policy.
so they should probably be even supporting.
Any other discussion? So the motion is to put forward the resolution in common council requesting the CAC sign up.
Yes.
All in favor? All opposed or abstaining? Unanimous. All right. So I have the draft resolution. I will modify that for Kingston and present it to CAC on July 12th. I don't know where it is. And then we'll go from there.
Thank you.
All right, anything else on outreach and education? All right, climate action plan, clean energy strategy. Two things to discuss at today's meeting. One is the shift toward 100% renewable electricity. A couple of things going on in that realm. One is that starting next week, the solar install on the Andy Murphy Neighborhood Center, which we've been talking about for years, is actually starting.
Oh, it starts next week?
Yes, it started next week. It's gonna take 4 to 7 weeks, which seems like a long time, but they said 4 weeks for installation, 3 weeks while they wait for permitting and then commissioning. And so in 7 weeks, we will have our first municipal building fully solar. And it is prominent and it is on Broadway and everyone's gonna see it. It's gonna be amazing.
And have a sign.
We should have a sign.
There's solar up there.
Sometimes they make a little thing so when you come in the door, you can see how much it's producing.
Yes.
Yes, I usually cost. I don't know if you're already planning on doing that, but the monitor,
But I should have, and I can do it in the chamber.
it's not a lot more. Because usually they have monitor, or module level monitoring already, so it just means putting up a screen.
Yeah, so super exciting. They've come and, remeasured and done everything. A little bit challenging timing because the building is under renovation already. There's early voting going on. The parking lot across the street is being closed for renovations. And now I have a new contractor coming in for 7 weeks. So don't try to park anywhere near the Murphy Center or Monkey Joe's or Rite Aid or Stone Soup.
That Earth Fair sign's gonna stay in my trunk for a long time.
But we're very excited about that process and it will be a model for our other municipal buildings.
That's great. It's really wonderful.
Is it gonna be, 100%?
It's 110.
That's how much you got
110%.
to do.
What's the system? Can't or?
I don't know what the word.
Just curious.
It's gonna produce 52,000 kilowatt hours.
It's gonna be 49 panels. Which
I thought it
is
was more than that.
basically, it was, but they changed the type of panel.
Oh, really? Because it was like over
They're-
100 when we got the, all right.
They probably went from residential size models to the commercial size.
So basically, the entire Hoffman Street side is gonna be all solar.
That's very cool. Yeah, it's
Wait, so they're bigger? So it's 49 larger panels? Is the
Probably
commercial
what
is
happened.
larger?
If it went from being 100, then it would be the double size.
Wow. That's gonna look really good.
Just flip the switch on. So.
Hey,
congratulations. That's awesome.
That's very
Just
cool.
Wow.
This is a good time to do it. You have a good son.
Birthdays.
Oh, you did it on the first day, sorry, that's like super
Yeah,
cool.
that way. By the time waiting for central Hudson,
Right. Who did you?
I use the solar generation.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, need any way to check? Need to install, same check, I'm sure it's not. Stuff I'm doing, just.
Sorry, I'm just bringing up the plan. Because
So,
Probably not. I think solar. But that might not be too much.
Dun, 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 dun.
Very cool.
Is
Can
it
you blow up
already-
the text a little? I'll let you know. Yeah, great.
Is this mean anything to anyone?
Yeah, we'll scroll up.
yeah.
Oh, it's 110 modules. Ellie was totally right when I was doing it.
Okay, great.
Oh, 49 kWp. The
I don't know.
kilowatt.
It's like, it's because it's, okay. I'm not gonna try to explain this.
Okay. Well,
Where
Yeah,
does
it's
it
solar.
say
Okay, so that means that it's got DC optimized.
kilowatts
So-
per?
110 LG 450 N2WE6 mod.
Yes, so there are 450 watt modules. And there's 110 of them, so.
Wow. It's
And
gonna-
LG is the same LG that makes your cell phones and things like that, so they're a very well-established South Korean company. SolarEdge is a company from Israel. They make inverters and DC optimizers, which are the things that take the power from a solar panel and process it so that it can be used in your appliances. That's very cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, so this is what it's gonna look like. Huge entire roof. I mean, it's mega roof. We're gonna fill the fence.
That's extremely exciting.
Right? Like,
It's gonna be highly visible.
It's going to be.
Beautiful.
I like that.
She just like make panels. So it would be worth chat with someone to make sure that when a warranty issue comes up. Honor with the different.
Okay.
Pretty sure is got.
The next step after that is me coordinating with the fire department, because I don't know what kind of training we have, and now we're officially going to have a municipal building with a roof with solar on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of training we have, so
That's a good question.
that will be happening.
There's usually a very prominently labeled pull this thing and then it de-electrifies your solar array so that there's no danger when you're spraying water on the roof or anything like that. There has to be one very prone.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has to be clearly labeled, and usually it's on either the outside of the building or near the utility pole, so.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
so
that's
once you find out, it should be pretty easy to give that information.
Okay.
And they can always go through the north side of the roof if they need to go.
Right, okay. So keep an eye out for that. That will be happening starting next week. We also were slated to, and it didn't happen yesterday, but hopefully it'll happen by tomorrow, releasing our CCA RFP.
Hey,
So, our request for proposals for community choice aggregation. The request for proposals is drafted about 99% complete. It is in the hands of the purchasing office to finalize the language. We're working with a team of folks, professionals to put that draft together. It is an advanced RFP compared to other CCAs in the state, CCA 3.0 version. And that means that it includes things like energy efficiency and locally produced energy, things like heat pumps and other energy related things, and community solar. The RFP will be out for a month, and it will be posted, sent directly to any CCA administrators that exist, and also potential CCA administrators that we're aware of. It's also going to be posted up in that and on the website. Our goal was to get it out yesterday, but there was some final language we had to finalize, so I hope and anticipate we will get that out tomorrow or the end of the week.
when that happens, will you send us the RFP?
Will.
That's a couple of people asking. Sean?
So that will be, that RFP will secure the administrator. The administrator will then develop all of the plans that need to be submitted to the Public Service Commission. That the administrator will manage all the accounts and will also issue an RFP for all of the energy and programming. And will manage our program and all of the outreach, and all of the reporting, all of the communications, all the issues. Hopefully they will single-handedly do that. I already called Julie a few times a day. But we'll see how that goes. So we are very excited about moving this forward. I think that we will be a model for other communities. I hope that it moves smoothly and swiftly. So we're excited about that. If there is anyone on this commission that is interested in reviewing, if you are an objective mind and not affiliated with any existing or possible CCA administrator, and you would like to be part of the RFP review team, as in reviewing RFPs and sitting down and rating them to help choose, please reach out to me and we can talk about that, because I would like to have folks involved in that. I do have a team of folks already that I anticipate will be serving in that role, but if there's anyone else who would like to serve in the role, that would be great. All right, so that's what I have for clean energy, clean electricity so far. Anything else on that? Decarbonizing buildings. So two things. One is municipal building upgrades. A few things I have on that. One is the Andy Murphy Center. Again, back to the going to be solar in 7 weeks or less building. We are doing a full commercial kitchen retrofit in that building. And as part of that process, the installation is going to be much more efficient than what was currently there. So we are putting in commercial refrigerators, freezers, stoves, dishwashers, sandwich tables, blenders, stand-up mixers, ice machines, all those things. And our intent with all that is to be fully electric. And that being said, I mentioned at the last meeting that I'm going to be applying to the next consolidated funding application for a NYSERDA grant to make this building net zero and to make the Andy Murphy Center net zero. So right now I am working with securing technical assistance through a consultant to assist with writing the grant, so that we can fully understand the systems in both the City Hall and the Andy Murphy Center. Right now, with the solar on the Andy Murphy Center and the retrofit of the kitchen, basically all of our systems besides heating and cooling are electric, so, and now covering solar, so that building will be much easier. This building is now efficient because of the windows that we put in, and the lighting, but the HVAC system is not at all. So that will be the plan with this building. So we hope to submit that grant, which would fund the design and construction of whatever we need for City Hall and the center to make them carbon neutral. Hopefully we'll be successful with that next grant. And also municipal building upgrades. Our current largest energy draw building or facility is the wastewater treatment plant. Second to that has always been the lighting. We retrofitted the lighting to LED, we cut that in half or whatever. Today, the mayor announced a $10 million project at the wastewater treatment plant, which is going to install blowers and a new outfall, but the blower system is going to reduce the energy use at that facility by 33%, which is crazy. I mean, a crazy amount, like 417,000 kilowatt hours per year. So right now, it is far and beyond the largest energy hog of all of our municipal operations, and this one action, which is a $10 million investment, in addition to some other things, is going to drastically reduce the energy use of that facility, which is very, very, very exciting. So that money is coming partially for grants and partially from the council, and will be including, a couple of different components. In addition to adding more efficient blowers, it's also getting our facility in compliance with DEC. Right now, we need to upgrade based on our current effluent of nitrates and phosphates, which are out of compliance. So this will modify our systems in order to get us in compliance for making sure we're not discharging things we shouldn't be discharging into. So those are some exciting municipal building upgrades that we've got going on to decarbonize our buildings. And is there anything on education and workforce opportunities and green jobs? Oh, yes.
I was just gonna say that the Power Kingston through Communities for Local Power is doing the next round of their green job training program, which is a paid 6-week internship, where you get training in a handful of different green collar jobs, and in the end they help place you with an employer. That's enrolling now. I'm not 100% sure what the date is.
No. I was wondering if you sent that email though, because I was going on my email, but you sent an email about the Ulster County green business thing now. And again, right?
Yes.
I don't have it because you sent it to my new power now, but it's just like.
Empower Kingston, and it's through Communities for Local Power. I can, if folks want that, I can share.
Yeah.
Any kind of technical, you just extend your chair the building create consultants.
Oh, fantastic. Great. So I can't really speak to you. I kind of.
Yeah, I know.
Are they hiring?
No, they rebranded the green business thing. And the Ulster, yes, something like that. They rebranded it. yeah, you can apply, there's a form to like sign up your business, be a champion. I don't know anything about the coordinator, but it looks like just the ball. I can't really give much info, but
I believe they are.
it's gonna be in NYCP's next class. Or maybe it was, I don't know.
So I would say at this point, if people want more information, you should check out the county website
Yes,
and Google Green Business
Champions,
Champions.
Ulster.
Were you looking at the email from Jackie Martin?
What does it say?
Oh, it gives like a link to, apply.
does it have information about?
I'll send that to you right now. Somehow your stuff comes through as spans.
And every time I send something to you, it tells me that you don't get it.
There you go. Emails and like.
It's weird.
It is.
I think you say something, but I'm glad that you heard that.
Be careful with this message. Oh my gosh. You can scare me. Possibly. Julie, I'm sending this to you.
Oh, it's screenshots, not videos. Sorry. I don't know if I brought this up in the right part of the agenda.
Is it maybe? Because we are.
Oh.
Oh, I also saw Upper was hiring like a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So the thing that you sent me is the thing from CLP.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so this what I'm sharing now is the Green Jobs Paid Training Program, July 30th through October 3rd.
There it is.
Um,
Oh, that's longer.
so that's September, 2 months.
Yeah.
2 months and a couple days.
Like 8 weeks probably.
8 weeks paid program, hands-on training, and grade building work, including solar installation, weatherization, electrical, energy audit, geothermal, HVAC, air quality, and high performance building. Must be 18 or older to apply, transportation may be arranged, and the link is there,
It's also available in Spanish.
and it's also available in Spanish. Okay. So, all right, there we go on that. It's good to know, and when we have, so speaking of which, by the way, Michael Darcy has been officially appointed to the commission, in place of Amanda Ravel. So hopefully the next time he's able to attend, he will present to us about the Green Jobs.
Cool. Be nice to see you.
Yes. All right, so then moving on to sustainable mobility and land use, a couple things fall under that. And I'm gonna call on Ellie to give us an update on anything that's going on with the city fleet and also the dockless pipe program.
I know that building safety has put in a request to buy 2 new plug-in RAV4s. I don't know at what stage they are in that purchase, but I signed the fleet request form a few weeks ago. So they're getting 2 new plugins over there. The assessor's office was also looking for another plug-in. They requested something that's all-wheel drive, good in snow, so I recommended the RAV4 again, because it's a great car, I drove it. And I know that communication is being sent to the council, because I think the funds for that car can be a contingency. So I don't know what the process is on that either. But I do know that we have 3 plugins in the process of being purchased right now. For, what was the other thing? The dockless bike program?
Yes.
I started looking into RFPs. So we are interested in pursuing a dockless bike share for dockless. I thought we were adopt.
We are.
Never mind, sorry. Adopt. Yeah, sorry, I was saying that it doesn't sound right. Adopt electric bike program. I don't think we're doing scooters at this point. It seems like we're not doing the scooters, but we are interested in the bikes. In order to do this, we would need to issue an RFP. So I started collecting RFPs and got stuff from You know, I've got big ones from New York City, but I also was able to pull some from small municipalities that have like 13, 20,000 people, 13 to 20,000 people. So I've been going through those a little bit. Haven't structured our own yet, because I think before we issue an RFP, we should probably look at any legislation that we would need to pass to get this going. Because I don't think it's worth putting a lot of time and effort into the RFP unless we have the legislation passed. So first step is figuring out the legislation we need, and the second step is actually issuing this RFP that I've collected samples for. So that's where I'm at on that. I need to do some more research into the legislation, because it's not really clear to me what exactly we would need to pass. Because we would be putting them on city sidewalks, they'd be city owned. To me, and we have bike lanes, we have bike laws in effect. To me, I'm just like, what legislation is there to pass? So if anyone has any insight on what legislation there is to pass in order to get this going.
I know that there are communities that have passed legislation to not allow it.
Okay,
The
we
question
don't have
is
anything
whether
like
or
that.
not we need some kind of legislation to allow it. I would ask for council.
Okay.
I
I can't imagine anything that we have that would prevent it.
Yeah, I just don't know why companies like those that exist that drop off bikes systems sometimes haven't just done that yet, like mine. So there's companies that have dockless systems that just come into a community and like leave 30 bikes and set up their system without.
But then they're just in the street. I never really understood the dockless bike system. I feel like they're kind of unsafe, like those scooters, right? Like, you know, the scooters that were in the city for a while, I don't know if they're still in the city,
Yeah.
but
People just.
they're just like in the middle of the street.
Yeah,
And I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me, and I wouldn't want to see that in Kingston. So I am pro-docked bike sharing.
yeah,
If-
so I definitely, I think even if legislation doesn't need to be passed, I think it would still be valuable to go before the public safety committee.
Yeah.
To just have a conversation to say, like, we're moving forward with this. Just in case constituents have questions, or you all have concerns or questions, like, before we put out the RFP, what are your?
I think it would also be valuable to do some more community outreach, because we only really did it at the Earth Fair. We haven't hit anyone else that did go to the Earth Fair. So I think we definitely need some more community outreach. We did have a meeting with eWegan, who are the people who supply the bikes for the Earth Fair. And they kind of just ran us through their process, and we talked about if we did do a trial run, and if it was with eWegan, what that would look like. And they said, I think like 4 to 5 dock systems with anywhere between like 30 and 50 bikes for a community our size for a trial. So that's like a trial to see how many people use it. I believe they said the trials last for, what'd they say, like 6 months or something? Do you remember? Trial period is some amount of months. Once you see how successful the trial period was and what interest is, from there you can like gauge how many more dock systems you want to expand to, and locations and such like that. We did come up with a number of location options that were in the survey for the Earth Fair, and included stuff like the Point, the library, the Midtown Center, Gallo, Strand, etc. So it would come down to choosing which of those locations we think are the most valuable for our demo.
We also, if, at least in their model, they have sort of a system, because we asked, you know, in our community, how would you know how many bikes to provide? They had a calculation of 1 bike for every.
I think it was 1% of the population.
Yeah. Pretty small.
1% of the population, but 1% of 25,000 is a lot. No, it couldn't have been 1%. It had to be smaller.
It was less than 1%.
Less
They
than
were
1%.
only saying,
It was like 0.01% maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
something's pretty small.
Yeah, but manageable.
And the other thing about the council would have to approve funding. It's not free.
They said it could be if the city chose not to own the bikes, and if the city decided
this is all through like B Weekend, we have to issue an RFP, but this is all hypothetical, if we want B Weekend. The city could permit B Weekend to install the dock system, the bikes, but they'd be owned by B Weekend. All the profits would go to B Weekend, and B Weekend would seek out advertisers to put on the dock systems. So there'd be like advertisements on the systems. And I don't think we really necessarily would want to do something like that. I guess it depends on the advertisers, if we could have a say in the advertisers and stuff like that, but that was an option. But then all the profits go to them and they choose pretty much everything, location, advertisers. Numbers, and stuff.
So there's still quite a bit of things to figure out, but we're on track.
Yes,
Ellie?
yes.
I don't think that was included in the first rough draft of the pedestrian bicycle management plans. Might want to check with
Okay.
Emily.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, there's still time. They're not going to come up with a new draft until September.
okay, yeah.
When you say that, do you mean any kind of share, like share
I
system?
didn't see it in here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they use the word share a lot. It's about shared roadways, totally different thing.
Like the master plan didn't address bike share.
And they didn't address the e-bikes either.
Okay.
That was one of my comments, so we're getting off track and getting into that. So, but yeah. that was-
Okay, yeah, I'll give it a call, thank you.
Great.
Is there any reason to communicate with like friends of Kingston or some of the existing like community bike advocacy groups while planning this to like get their input or like?
Yeah. I think their input would be really valuable. I would really like people who engage with those groups to fill out our survey, actually.
Yeah.
The survey that we did for Earth Fair. I still have physical copies of that. Who does that? Is that Emily also? Oh, town hall.
But I'm involved.
I'll call Emily and see what Emily has to say.
Yeah, especially if, I can imagine that Bike Friendly Kingston has probably will at least discussed the concept. And it'll be interesting to understand what their take is on it, or concerns, or advocacy, or if they're adversarial to it, or whatever.
Because it might be that you say, hey, we're thinking about doing this, and they're like, well, we had an idea that's kind of like that, but it would actually be better if we did it this way, and we've talked to the community, like, we might just have to. So it's probably worth talking to them early on.
Awesome. Anything else on fleets or bikes? All right, so other sustainable mobility and land use things. EV infrastructure, the next EV charging station will be going in on Prince Street. So Prince Street lot is going to be closed starting July 21st. And the installation of the EV charging station will happen simultaneous to that. And then we're going to be working on also the Sea Deli lot and the Cornell Street lot. Cornell already has an EV charging station in it. It's going to be moved as part of the renovation of the Cornell Street lot, I think, to the other end. And I'm not able to put in any of the other EV charging stations yet because we're not in contract with the state yet. It's taken a while on many of our contracts with the state to be moving forward. They are many different divisions of the state government are moving pretty slowly. So we're waiting on that.
Jim, who's, are they going to charge? Will they be in charge of the
Currently, they're free. I would prepare ourselves for them to not always be free, but they are currently free. Okay, any update on zoning?
6:30.
Started tonight,
It's the public meeting.
right here?
No, it's on Zoom.
Oh,
Tonight,
Yeah.
right at 6:30.
6:30. Close of public comment is July 1. I don't know if the group wants to make public comments or not. It's a lot. I'm still looking at it. I mean, it's a lot of detail.
well, the CAC is closely examined as well, right?
Yeah, but I think, Emily came to the same conclusion. I got an email to the CAC that, yes, a lot of detail.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, what I did with it was I broke down the draft general regulating manual into the sections.
Okay.
So that you don't just get totally overwhelmed. You stay focused as to what it is.
You say a lot, like how many pages? It's rough.
Maybe 100 something.
When there's something we do about it.
Yeah, a lot of it looks like bulk regulations.
Okay.
If you ever look at the back page of the zoning resolution, you have all this like
Very-
setbacks and
This is
then
new
there's
zoning.
diagrams, and then there's maps that show you different transects, so that would be like the actual replacement zones that we have now. They went from T1, which is open space, to T2, conservation, T3, large lots, and T4 for urban, and more urban.
Sounds very difficult to comment on, like as a public commentary. It sounds really dense.
It takes a little bit of land use knowledge, I think, to really get into it.
Is there anything about solar?
Been discussed, but I think it's hard to back
Because I
into
know
a
it's,
zoning resolution. The building code, yeah, we have discussed already, so that's sort of, I think where that goes, not so much in the zoning.
One of the makes it complicated is that in areas that could have flexible zoning boards, right?
Well, that's another thing. There's some special districts, yeah, special districts. And like this is a special district. And the schools, high school, and so special district. And Business Park, is a special district. Kingston Plaza, is a special district. Those have their own rules. So it gets, yeah, quickly. And it's kind of what I did.
I see. So I broke it into individual.
Oh, yeah, yeah, right. It has 8 sections. Yeah, only a time to look at one and take a look at the transect overview, transect summaries on the maps, the maps are visible. And it's all on Kingston forward. Right.
Engagement.
Engaging.
I engage Kingston, Kingston support within engage Kingston. That's what I meant to say, so.
So is there any action that needs to be taken on zoning from here?
I brought up solar because from the solar mapping cohort, Audrey Fredrickson, who's in Hudson, she's like attorney there, and she gave a spiel about like, want developers to see your town as like hoping for solar amid your zoning. I don't know, it's a little bit over my head, but like, I just don't know if now would be, if you're amending zoning, if you should try to add language about that.
Now would definitely be the time.
You're
Do you
saying
think that
that's
she
not,
has draft language?
I can contact her.
Yeah, that would be, definitely. Just see if it's in the I still like going through this. I found there, let's see, renewable energy systems, including ground or roof, mounted solar systems. That's just in the definitions. Let's go to something real. Okay, renewable energy systems, including ground or roof mounted solar systems, footprint not more than 50% of the primary structure footprint. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it gets technical quickly. Or 600 square feet, whichever is greater. Roof mounted and turbines no more than 3 feet. I think this is something that's allowed. Okay.
So it is addressed.
Yeah, it's addressed, but
Should be like,
may
should I
not
s-
like the way it reads.
Should I send her that and ask her if she thinks that would be a turn off to developers? Or,
Yeah, it's on, the pages are, of course, the pages are not numbered, so you have to look at your PDF and see what page you're on. It's on page, this is on page 34, permitted use definitions and limits. And then on page 15, 35, and 101. That's 35, it says 34 here. Just search for the word solar in several places. Yeah, and 101 we didn't address yet. That's actually, that looks like it might be the administrative section. And it's substantially similar language, 600 square feet, percent of the primary structure footprints. And then it discusses wind turbines. So I'm wondering if the structure footprint is adequate. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Anything else on zoning?
Till 6:30.
Okay, so then we'll move on to managing resources sustainably. I have been told by my consultant that the organics plan will be done by the end of June. That's 8 days from now. It's definitely not going to be the case because I haven't seen a draft of it. So however, it will certainly be moving forward more swiftly because my consultant is moving on to a different role in her organization and she will not be able to work on it much longer. So I anticipate that wrapping up hopefully soonish. And we will move towards implementation the second half of the year, of looking at funding for implementation for 2023. Something I wanted to mention, and I guess it would maybe fall under carbon sequestration, but maybe it would have fallen under land use, is the community preservation plan that we're working on. So I think I've mentioned it before, but the community preservation plan project has now been kicked off. This is a project that takes our open space plan one step further and identifies priorities for preservation and then assigns each parcel in the city of Kingston a rating of how high on a priority ranking it is for preservation. Ultimately, a fund could be set up through referendum, vote of the referendum to establish a fund through real estate transfer tax, which would establish a fund to execute the preservation. And right now we are gathering input from the community. If you're interested in providing us your prioritization ideas, I do have printed surveys in Spanish and English. I do have, and the website has the survey on it and also a map. And you can go ahead and check out Age Kingston / community preservation plan. It's actually community-preservation-plan. And I encourage everyone to tell us your priorities about if it's a specific parcel that you think should be preserved, either culturally, historically, or environmentally. And preservation could be anything from a land easement to a purchase. There's a number of different processes and things that can happen for each individual parcel, and that will be identified in the plan itself. Once we gather everyone's prioritization priorities, and then create the matrix for ranking each of the parcels. Then identify those parcels, rank them, and so we're gathering folks' information over the summer and then putting together any kind of maps that we need, drafting the final plan by the end of the year. If there are any groups or organizations or meetings or things that we can go to get out, gather more information from the community in terms of priorities, let us know. We're building our outreach plan. So we can hear from the world as much as possible. Also dealing with carbon sequestration, the tree commission did complete their spring round of tree planting. So they put in, I think, 22 trees around town, street trees, and they're going to do another fall planting. So our goal is to plant 1,000 trees by 2030. 22 a year is not going to be enough. We definitely need a ramp up of that plan in some way, but it is not cheap. Even as it is, the tree commission had intended to put in a certain number of trees with the funding that they have, and they're putting in fewer than they thought based on the cost initially. So really, it's going to come down to like seeking an incredible amount of funding. But more than that, there's also not a lot of people chopping at the bit to put in trees. So they had to do door-to-door flyering to say like who wants a tree. And the thing is, with the street trees, they are in the city's right of way, but they're sort of in your yard and you have to maintain them. But at least you're getting at this point a free tree out of the deal in your yard. So, and we lost an incredible amount of trees with the ice storm. So if anyone knows if we want to lot trees, you can direct them to the planning board, the planning department, where they're gathering names for more fall plantings. Basically, it needs to be a location where there are no utilities overhead and it's got to be within 10 feet of the road, which is considered a street tree. Any tree within 10 feet of the road is a street tree. And we're going to be looking for opportunities for funding and other ways to do a mass, planting in order to get to 1,000, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot. 1,000 trees is a lot. And we're not talking like 1,000 little saplings, we're talking 1,000 substantial sized trees. I also put local food production on here. I didn't actually have anything necessarily to discuss. Wanted to just bring it forward. Anyone had, it's part of our climate action plan and really supporting and advancing and ramping up local food production and self-reliance. I don't know if there's anything in particular. I think it's just to kind of gauge, spark interest on if there's any kind of initiative on Kingston to think of that we want to advance with local food production. If there's folks we want to partner with, if there's something in particular that folks have in mind.
Street trees. Fruit trees. Producing trees. Or they need really tall shade trees.
No, just a tree is a tree. There's definitely some. Right. Yeah, there's definitely some effort to do more edible plantings. There's also some resistance management part because of the mess that it could make. But I know that the tree commission did pass or develop a list of trees, like approved trees. I don't know if fruit bearing trees are part of that list.
The trees are really good, especially around here. There's others that are hardy.
What did you say about options? Are really?
I feel like they're very fiddly, like their front lot has, like, I live down the street from an orchard and we have 2 apple trees in our yard and they're just dying. We have other.
Can I help you find
trees.
something? Yeah.
Are you the zoning meeting?
No, that's on Zoom.
I thought it was,
Right?
Bartek, is that here? I'm sorry.
It's okay, no, it's all right.
Remember, just discussed.
That's a public safety meeting and this is a climate smart meeting. Our understanding is that the zoning.
Yeah, it's on Zoom.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry about
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, it's fine.
Thank you.
So what more parties?
We have peach trees that are doing well.
That's
The
the
peach trees
peach
are doing
trees.
really good, but
Yeah.
the apple trees are just like, they're like really struggling, like the leaves keep dying.
And
I
some,
think it's just that there's so many orchards around here that any pests find the trees that aren't getting sprayed.
Yeah, I think that with fir trees is also, and I don't know a lot about them, but some I feel like require another of the other.
Yeah, to cross pollinate, yeah.
Require another of the other.
You know what I heard that's doing really well is a cherry tree.
Cherries do well too.
And the
cherries
birds
are
love
strong.
them, and if they fall, they don't make that big mess like an apple.
Yeah.
Unlikely.
It's like a ball bearing. So I'll follow up with the tree commission on what their deal is with fruit bearing trees.
You might get more people.
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're like, I got. They're very strong.
Well, technically, if it's a street tree, you could, in theory, walk up to someone's street tree in their yard, if it's within 10 feet of the road.
You might have an argument.
Yep, I would think you could.
But you would be right. You could fight with them all they want, but it's a public tree. It's true.
But it's the yard. So you have,
You have to get
don't step on the yard to get.
Right,
Finding out
Yeah,
the
get it,
sidewalk.
get one of those.
What, like the
bags.
garbage pickers?
Tell us to go make- tell us to go make-
None of it ever been in people's private yard or being.
or city parks or city property. We haven't identified, we haven't done like an inventory of locations where we want to yet.
But I can see, you know, in the street, like 10 or 15 people, you know.
Yeah.
They're ready.
Anybody I know is a tree or vegetable to come.
Yes, please,
Yeah.
because they all come, they all get ready at the same time.
Yeah.
They're all fresh at the same time, so that's actually a good problem to have, is lots of people who want it. Otherwise, you go for it.
It also means we've done a big garbage in your tree.
Yeah.
Other local food production ideas is in the pamphlet that we made. I don't know if it ended up making it, but the CSAs.
Yeah.
Like promoting them.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just on Facebook. I know it's CSA season right now. We can
Usually-
promote socially. I know a lot of them have sign up periods. Some of them they'll vend at like the Kingston Farmers Market, or like Song has a store where you can buy. You don't have to be a CSA member. You can just buy stuff.
Do we have any CSAs in Kingston?
Oh, so many. Yeah, my house is signed up for two.
In Kingston?
In Kingston,
So,
Steve
yeah.
Song has a
They're
CSA.
technically not.
They're not Kingston, they're.
But they're in the surrounding area.
Does the YMCA program is kind of do a CSA, there's a farm store or
You can promote.
the area?
Yeah, I mean, if they are marketing to Kingston residents and they have availability, we should be promoting.
I think promoting the farmers market needs to be a little more effective, that's right. And those,
It's like farmers market season.
Yeah.
Social.
there's the one by the waterfront, there's the one by the, like, church.
Yeah.
No.
The zoning also supports urban agriculture, where the previous, the current zoning, acres to actually do it. 2 acres or less.
Okay, that's cool.
And they did mention something about chickens and bees, but they don't go into details. They refer you to the animal code at that point, so you're not getting the zoning. The whole zoning is shut down over an argument of chickens. Yeah, right, I mean, I don't think they wanted to go that way. So, but there is a code for that.
Does it want be considered that or not? Local food.
Well, it's access to food, for sure. So do you have an update on what the status is?
No, I was gonna see if we should ask for ethics for.
Yeah, that'd be
for
great.
everything.
Other thing is Jared's Future Foods project. The was about a year or two, or maybe it was before COVID, I can't remember. Yeah, Jared did a whole thing. He presented at the CAC. Present here? No. He's working now at the Kingston Land Trust, doing work with Rich and me. But I don't have it on my desk yet. We all have to do it 2023.
Great, so these are some good ideas, yeah, I mean, unless if you want to have some, get some update on the co-op statuses, that would be great. I mean, I'm not a member of it, but I would love to give an update, even if it's someone coming here, they want to come to the meeting. So we can, just give you a heads up that we can come to the July meeting or whatever. And if you want to promote the, or find out about whether we see any of the CSA that serve Kingston residents are accepting members. I used to belong to one that was out on Saltville Road, right by a water. That exists anymore.
No, I know there's one that delivers to Rough Draft. And Village County Goods, like,
Feels good.
but I know like they're not in Kingston, but they deliver to members.
I think I heard one.
Yeah, and I know that there was one called Feels Goods that was delivering to the Y.
Maybe we should get a list of those.
And I wrote down to link it and put this on our website.
Okay, anything else on old business? Or, we'll get to that in a second. There's no new business on the agenda. Announcements, communications, events, and updates. Go ahead.
Okay, last week, Judy, we talked about that we're living.
Yes, yes,
I did reach out,
zero place.
and I think I sent you a copy of the business card that they gave me, but I have the information here. And they're hoping for us to, I think it's an all electric, I think they do geothermal, they have solar, they have the charging station.
So
we
did you talk to them about giving us a tour?
Well, I haven't done that because I didn't know, with my place, and I thought maybe you would want to, you want me to do it. I'll reach out to them. And then we'll,
You can go ahead and do it and see if there's a time. No place, if there's a time, you know, we could, how we would arrange for different folks to go in and have.
Is it built or half vacant or what's the status right now?
I think they're still.
Still.
Oh, you're having a meeting live?
No.
Okay, you got it.
Good look at them.
I know that all the reasons that it's still.
Right. they're still there.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
To reach out and all.
Okay.
I sent to a client to live there.
You applied for it?
I tried to.
Oh.
It was rough.
Oh, wow.
So in other words, people.
People reserved, yeah, they reserved to live there while it was in construction.
They're not counted as well, so.
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Interesting. That's a little easier to get. Isn't it? That's a little easier to get into, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's regular rental rather than.
You don't need a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
2 months or 3 months.
Yeah, I would like to, considering we're doing this whole thing about carbon neutral buildings down here, I want to kind of. I want to-
Tomorrow, call.
Great, that's awesome.
Sun County, they're solar too.
Oh. Thanks for doing that. Other communications, events, or updates before we get to the two committee reports?
I just wanted to announce an event, from New Clean Power and Bedford 130 that's happening next week, June 29th, 7 to 8 p.m. It's a conversation on clean energy solutions, and it's featuring our local clean energy coaches. So New Clean Power has 2 coaches, and Bedford 2030 has a coach. And it's basically a free consultation service for New Clean Power. It's a 45-minute session. They sit you down, talk about whatever you want in your life, whether it's an electric vehicle, an EV station installed in your home, solar, mini solar, geothermal heat pumps, even green banking. green investing, green website stuff, anything you want to know about. And so this is an event to meet the coaches and kind of get information, ask questions, because people always think like trying to sell them something. So I just wanted to let everyone here know about the event. I can circulate it after. And then. yeah,
Where is it?
It's virtual, it's a Zoom.
Oh,
And I will also put it on the Facebook if everyone wants. to.
sure, yeah. Great. Other events or updates? Okay, then can we have a report from anything for public safety? What's happening there? I have not heard anything from Serena. Has anyone? Any communication with Serena?
I see her post on Facebook because probably
She's alive.
I know she's there.
She's alive, okay.
Okay, I have reached out to her multiple times. No response.
Yeah, I know she's much, yeah. I can send her a message on Facebook.
Okay. All right, Ulster County Climate Smart Committee. Do you have an update? Yeah. Did you go to the Climate Smart?
Oh, no, it's Monday.
Oh, okay. It hasn't happened.
Has that?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so then, social media postings?
Oh, wait, one more thing
Okay.
about the, I don't know if it was in Ulster, but the solar mapping program is having a summer session that starts July 5th. It's 5 weeks in a row. And so if there's anybody from municipalities that want to sign up, you can sign up now, and it's 5 nights. I think they did a shorter version, but instead of bi-weekly, it's just all, it's in the summer, which I don't know, and I'm not a part of it. It's just 2 interns, both Lana and Jabri doing it. And then also Audrey Fredrickson and Alex Wolfson and cousin will be at 2 of the sessions. Still working on my presentation.
Third time to try. Okay. All right, so social media postings. The Repair Cafe position. The event that we just mentioned.
Ask about the local farming.
Yep.
And we could promote that increase for local power internship as the current
Yep.
internship already gone up.
Yep, that would be great.
I have, also, do you want to promote the planning for fall street trees or just wait?
I would wait until we see a communication from the planning department because they might have to change their strategy by that. I don't know.
Okay, and then your announcement about the mayor today with the wastewater treatment plant.
Yes.
Is there a press release?
Yep, it came out today. I can forward it.
So I'll do that. And then, what's the last, oh, do we want to make a post about these 2 vacancies? Be like,
Vacancies in
Connoisseur?
Yes. Absolutely. And if someone is not able to state there's 3 vacancies and there's also 2 non-voting commissioners. So at least right now, there's at least 2 voting and 2 non-voting vacancies. Yeah, absolutely. I would love that. Great. Any other business? Can we just check our calendars for July, make sure that we're going to have tomorrow? In person? It would be the 27th.
I will be here, I know that I'm not. If you want vacation.
Do you want to show up maybe
So 2.
So I'm with
I should be here, so she.
I will not be here.
the what?
I don't know. Why that is done. That happens. I will not be.
All right, so Kevin, what were you?
I could be there, but
What meeting are you looking for?
With the hearing. Is that here?
What are you specifically looking for? This is a conference call. What were you looking for?
Oh, the zoning.
That's on Zoom.
Oh, that's only on Zoom. I thought it was in the city hall.
Are you sure?
Mark's Yeah, Mark's not gonna be able to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That was
good.
Sorry for that.
No, you're right.
Well,